Hello and welcome to episode 388 of the Destiny Community
wow.
Podcast, DCP plus
Aliens have.
SideQuest.
He's an alien. Confirmed.
It's not really Briar.
Supplicant.
What have you done with Briar? Guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing? We've been a long time no see for Lego. We've been missing you. I know that
He lives.
been trying to keep you down, but you're fighting back.
I'm fighting against the man. Spectrum can't take me down. I'll find a way. After I tweeted that though, I was like, ooh, should I? Maybe I should delete this like seconds before the internet goes down. I could hear the rain outside, and I was like, oh no, not now. No, I'm glad to be here. The final shape has just been what a blast, like just something so refreshing. So I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
We had a Cox cable, which was aptly named because it was about as useful as a bag of dicks. For the longest time we had it. It was like the only thing that was available at this house. And then we got fiber optic through another company. They finally came. I literally like chased this truck down when they were installing it and said, when are you turning this on? I'm like, definitely sign it up. Like, put me first on the list. And like, we pre-ordered it. Like, we got on the waiting list. The Cox guy came to the house like a week ago, like knocking on the door, trying to sell services. Like, get out of here! Like, I wish I had a shotgun so I could have chased him off my lawn. Yeah, beating him.
Go on, get
a broom.
A broom, that's good.
TV, how you been?
Good. Tired, but good.
Tired.
Final shape grind. Just it's always something to do. Always plan the next project, but it's all good. It's good business. This is the kind of busy we like to be as content creators. Just because you find yourself like I have a notepad here, and there are 12 videos written down that don't have check marks next to them yet.
Oh, that's a good place to be in.
That's a great place to be because then you're like, which one today? What should I do today? And I love being in that sort of a situation.
Yeah, especially when you can pick like which one do I feel like doing, right? Like,
that's right.
Yeah, that's the most fun way to do content creation.
The worst is when you have those days where you're like, I need to get a video out because I need to make money, but I have no idea
what to talk about.
What to talk about right now? Let's go with matchmaking. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
Fran, how you been?
Good. Just playing lots of Destiny. I've been all Destiny all the time.
All Destiny all the time? You haven't like moved on to anything? Are you going to play Elden Ring? I know that's why.
Yeah.
In case anyone doesn't know, that's why Watts isn't here today.
Yeah.
Elden Ring DLC came out.
She's been sent to the land of Erd trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had over 400 hours in that game. I've collected everything, and I left off at New Game Plus. So I'm in a unique situation where like I didn't do any prep. And, that's how the game is. So I'm looking very forward to be like, okay, well, I can't wait to play the DLC. How do I feel going to that experience? Because From Software does it in their own way. They're like, well, you got to be at this point. I'm like, yeah, but I beat the game after 400 hours and started over. So it'll be interesting impressions to see how that feels, if it's like much of a problem for me.
I wonder if the internet has come up with a way to like kind of restore an old save point.
I don't know on that one if you really could do something. But I'm not really worried because either way, I think I'm in good shape and I don't mind playing more, but it does put me in New Game Plus. Like, again, it's not like the game warns you to be like, wait, there's going to be DLC. Are you sure you want to do it? So everybody, in other words, everybody's like scaring me out. Are you ready? You're a New Game Plus? And I'm like, why is all of this potentially a problem? They were releasing DLC. It shouldn't create a problem for me. So I hope not.
I'm in the same spot you are. I'm probably like 30 hours into a New Game Plus, but I didn't finish New Game Plus.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm I don't even remember kind of where I left off because I played through the whole story in regular game, and then so like where am I? I don't even really remember, and like it's kind of like tempering my excitement for playing the DLC because I'm like I don't know what I gotta do to get into the DLC. Like how many hours of old content do I gotta play to get into the DLC?
Yeah.
So I'm not really a big fan of the way they're doing this.
Yeah, and for full disclosure, I'm well aware it's because of how Dark Souls has been handled and like that From Software has a history. So like, of course, people are sort of asking these questions. But I'm very curious from just someone who likes to experience games for like as they are, what they are, my own impressions. Is it really a big problem for me? I guess we'll find out. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to jump until like the weekend. And honestly, I'm still playing a lot of Destiny right now. Lots to do. My vault is full. And I'm like, man, every time I log in, I'm just constantly, brimming with loot.
So wait, how do you handle loot, Fran? Like when you get drops, is it like you just throw it in there like, oh, this could be good, and you just throw it in there? Or?
Yeah, so Lego. I don't know if Lego's been around for my ridiculously long rant, so don't let me go off too far.
I have.
Briar,
yeah, I'll keep you in.
Stop me. But in short, a full vault is an optimal vault, right? You're never gonna find a situation where you're like, man, I wish I kept that, right? But you don't want to be in a situation where stuff's overflowing into the postmaster all the time.
Yeah.
That you're worried about losing stuff, and unfortunately, it's work. And so, short of it is, I really do wish in the game things like look at loot. Compare the same gun to the other gun, tag it favorite, junk, not. Get rid of it in orbit at the chest. I still can't believe that's not in the game. I always bring up, how is Bungie not the Apple iOS of handling loot? Because, like, it's not a priority. I understand they got a lot going on, but I really can't wait till somebody's like, this is gear management and it's going to change your life.
It'll happen in Destiny Frontiers.
Yeah. You know what is a really freeing feeling though is because I just toss all my stuff in there as I'm going at the beginning, and then once you get your stuff, like the craftable stuff from the Pale Heart, it's like going back in the vault and just deleting everything. You're like, oh, look at all this room I got.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's basically what I do. So they gave us 100 spots though. I thought it wouldn't, fill up as fast as it did, to be quite honest. But
I've got 65 of those new slots are full.
There you go. So you have, are you saying you have about 50 available at all times?
35.
So, yeah, I'm down to 35 free spots
Postmaster,
in my vault total. Oh, you count Postmaster?
That's how I
most of my gear management is through the Postmaster.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have dim up at all times. If I see something that goes to the Postmaster I want to keep, I can just drag it out of there. But otherwise, like, that's just my rotating trash bin.
Yeah. But the truth is, I have some old armor and old guns. I just never made it through all the archetypes to like delete stuff that I probably won't using as buffs, or I should say perks and stuff have changed, and especially with crafting and so there's just like to-dos. But every time I hop in, I want to play the game, so I go play the game.
You don't want to do inventory management,
yeah, and then I play seasonal content, and it's crazy how much loot you get right now. Dude, and so it's that. Combined with Infusion, by the way. Infusion is the absolute worst part of Destiny for a seasoned player. I'm okay with the power grind. I'm not okay storing like 25 items at a time because, like, in case I want to change my build up, it's ridiculous. Just let me shred it into a stack of things or something. Like, fix it. It's broken. It really is.
They kind of did work on that a little bit, this expansion, and it took me a while to realize what was going on with the even power level thing they've done between all your characters now, it's like evened out the power level, but not only between like the drops you get, but also when you pull something from collections or pull something from a vendor, it drops at like 1990. Like it drops at the higher power level. And so that's really nice for me as someone who doesn't play my ults much and I jump on and I just need a pair of legs or,
it's
whatever.
3 under, I think.
Do what?
I think it's 3 under your
3
power.
under. Okay. So it's a bit under, but it's not like it used to be where it's like, I literally can't go into trials with this,
1600.
Yeah. So I agree. That was huge. And I do give them credit for like, okay, you can pull stuff out of there it's literally like 777 glimmer, for taking the blues out. So that part is really nice, but it doesn't solve the problem of right now, right? If you want to be, say, 2005 for an activity, I'm still waiting to get there. So I'm holding on to every not every, but I hold on to about 6 per slot. That always gives me just enough breathing room that if I start like doing something, let's say soloing a lost sector, who knows? I can just change my build up. I hate the feeling of wanting to use a gun while I'm grinding and being met with, oh, you just don't have the infusion. I'm like, dude, it's divinity. I've used it. Like, why do you? I don't need to like struggle. What do you want me to go grind like a Nightfall for some infusion to use a divinity? Anyway, that being said, it's not a major issue. I'm getting a pretty decent amount of infusion, and it helps once you hit 1990. You start to get a lot. You slow down at the pinnacle band, and so everything starts to kind of even out. So long story short, I'm in okay shape. I do just I like to play the game, and the more I can stay out of like looking at my gear, the better. So I just have a lot of homework still to do in terms of clearing another, let's say, 100 spaces. Once I do that, I think we'll be in decent shape.
How do
I
you
was
feel about
having
this
the
new?
problem of like
Go
I'd be looking at the gun thinking like, is this perk any good? I can't remember what I can't remember what Lego said. I know one of these was good. I need I need Bungie to like contact content creators and get them in the game and say this perk is a Lego certified pick.
Lego
You know,
certified.
this is
Tim has that.
this is a
by the way.
They
TV
do,
hot
yeah.
roll. You know, like I want.
You know, okay,
Don't delete
meme on the
this one.
game all you want, but one thing that Raid Shadow Legends did really well was integrating community reviews
Oh, that's cool.
on weapons and characters. So if you were just
In the
playing the
game?
game and like a new character, a new champion dropped for you, you're like, I don't even know if this person is good. You could just inspect them and it would have it broken down: PvP, dungeons, lairs, campaign missions, and each one of them would have a rating. Maybe they're like a 10-star PvP character, but like a 2-star campaign character.
I love
So
that
you-
idea.
So immediately you know what this character is geared towards, what you should focus on for them, and not wasting resources leveling up the wrong stuff. Like if they had something like that in game in
Yeah.
Destiny for like perks and roles,
Yeah.
that was maybe help you know how the community sentiment is towards those things. That would be helpful.
Yeah, like even like a number like 97% of players who got this role didn't delete it or kept it. You know, like some metric to like, so I don't have to like analyze every gun or every piece of armor I get. Like, is this a Lego hot pick? I don't know.
Yeah. Is that what you were gonna ask before TV?
No.
When you get you had a different question.
TV's kind of like it's like he's convincing me to respond to that Shadow Legends email that's sitting in my inbox right now.
Please,
yeah, I mean,
Lego, let us pay you.
Everybody out there that plays a ton is being like, guys, why don't you just use Dim for everything? And it's like, absolutely, Destiny Auto Manager,
Yeah.
Destiny 2 recipes, D2 armor picker, and Light GG, amazing resources that
Those
all
are tabs that are always
Yeah.
open.
Yeah,
and that's the
found it.
point. Is
Shout
like,
out.
sometimes I just want to like get in the game and shoot stuff. I don't want to be doing homework and
Yeah.
spreadsheets and
Yeah, I get it.
like you know, and like especially when honestly the time I want to do that stuff the least is when new DLC drops because I want to be playing the game, not like
yeah, I actually really love this topic because I've asked myself this question a lot. I'm like, wait, if I have access to this so easily on my phone, and if everybody in the community that actually plays a lot says, why don't you just use this? Why not just put something in the game that is a bit more, telling? Now, what I always come to, I'm like, I get why they don't want to ruin the mystique of like, this is like a unique good role, but the amount of perks and stuff has gotten to the point that it feels like it needs a little something, and even the option to like, some games allow you to open a browser within the game, and I'm sure stuff like that gets very scary from a development standpoint. But
Yeah.
the tools are there to do something better than what we have, and I agree it would help. Because what I do, and by the way, if you folks out here don't do this, as I prepared for Final Shape, there were some things I wasn't doing. This has been a huge help. I have Dim open, and when I get a drop, you click on the icon, which pulls up the full name and a box that shows all the potential perks, as long as the API is working, which it normally does. So all the potential perks. And then it's got a hot link to Light GG, which I would recommend. And literally in one click, you see all the perks. You're like, what role would I get? Because it allows you to see everything. And then you click through, and as long as people have gotten into the database, it'll show you what people are tending to use. And so it becomes a lot easier. In the past, what I'm getting at is I used to like have Light GG open and I had to like search for it. It took forever to like pull the link up. And then I was like, I'm not doing this. So that actually has been a huge help for me. So try it if you haven't. Again, I didn't know you could click on the name, the actual title of the gun that starts to open this stuff up. It's really useful.
Before we get too deep into D2 stuff, I want to ask Briar, how was your week, man? Did you play any new games? Are you looking to jump into anything new this week?
No, I have been outdoors all week. It is
okay.
It is literally like is today the first day of summer, actually?
You ain't gotta flex on us nerds like that.
I know. We've been living in the game.
We're experiencing this. No, we're experiencing a heat wave here. And it just feels glorious to be outside on the kayak, outside golfing.
Ooh,
I played in the Solstice Classic golf tournament yesterday. It was unbelievably
the summer
good time.
solstice.
It has been too long since you DM'd me a video of you cracking a cold one on a kayak. It's been almost exactly a year since the last Briar DM.
I can fix that pretty quick. Going to see a concert. You guys know the band The Heavy?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go see
Heck
them this weekend.
Awesome.
So we're
They're in the
just
States?
living in summer.
I didn't even know they were touring in the States right now.
The
I didn't
song
either.
of Briar.
As long as the beer cracking doesn't, they don't escalate into shower beers in the DMs, you're good, TV.
I think it was like 9 a.m.
I'll just send that one to you. No, it was real early.
But not too early. Real early, but not too early.
It was. I want to say it was in like April too. It was like very early in the year. Like I don't even think there was
Was
like
it
leaves on the
really?
trees. I'd have to look at the video.
Because I want to say it was pretty soon after last year's charity stream that we did with DCP.
Oh, okay.
Because one of my incentives was to do a whiskey review on the kayak.
That's right.
So
Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I gotta watch that video. I missed it.
Yeah, it went great. It was really fun to do it actually. But I was out there it was literally like at that point. By the time I got in the water, it was like 5:30 in the the right?
TV.
Sun wasn't even up, and I'm pouring a whiskey at 5:30 in the morning out on a lake.
Today was
Take
a
me
good
there.
day.
It was a good day.
Would you be willing to take a single drop from the river to drop into the bourbon to open it up with a special river?
Not a
droplet
lake.
of water.
It depends
you'd be
on the
too
river.
scared.
It depends on the river, but not a lake.
I
Yeah.
think it's the perfect way to open that bourbon up.
The
and get
alcohol
yourself something.
probably would kill anything.
Probably clean anything in there.
Probably.
Yeah. Let it sit a minute.
Yeah. But the downside of that is a heavy downside. Should we
Well, I
talk
will
about
say,
the new Lego? You're first of all, I want to hear Lego. You haven't been on the show since we launched. Like, what has your experience been like? Go through kind of the story, like just kind of your overall experience, PvP, everything you've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
I feel like, I had the same kind of day one experience that a lot of people did with error codes and stuff. Like I just I could do nothing. And I actually had a really awful day one experience. And the more I think about it, because I missed like essential cutscenes that I was like, wait, what? Like I just completely, like the first time you see Cade, didn't see it. Like I did not see that cutscene. Like there was just so much that I missed. And then on top of that, I had the bug where you skipped over prismatic, so I never got prismatic unlocked for like, I don't know, like the first 2 or 3 story missions. And all of a sudden it just popped up. Like Bungie was like, "Oh, give it to everyone," and then it popped up on my screen.
Because you missed the cutscene, it didn't unlock the power.
It was like not just the cutscene, but I got kicked out of the mission at the part where you get prismatic or something like that. And some people had that happen, and they fixed it to where they just kind of gave it to all those people, I think, that had been in that mission. But so yeah, it was a rough first experience, but it was so fresh anyways. Like in the next day or something like that, or that night or something, I went back to it and just like, what a great story. What a great finale to Destiny 2, just all the way through. I did it all solo legend, which was a great experience. Like I could not recommend that enough. I have a friend right now who's come back to the game who's playing it through the normal way. And I was like, dude, if you want a really good experience, like I highly recommend you to try it on legend, because it is just really well balanced, particularly towards the end. There were some boss fights where I was like, man, I have to like think about what I'm doing.
I
have to
gotta try
approach this.
here. Yeah, I can't be careless.
Yeah, especially because if you're sticking to your like OG or your new stuff, not just your OG stuff you're used to running, but like the prismatic stuff, if you're really trying to run with it and build with new weapons and everything, which I was trying to do, it made the content like a little bit harder because everything's so new. And so, yeah, I had just a great time running through that. The story hit me hard. Like I was in tears at the end.
Right.
I know a lot of people compare it to in-game, like the last moment after the raid, because I watched the raid race and everything, and what a great time that was. And then afterwards going in there to the 12-man activity, which we'll talk about later, was fantastic. And like a lot of people compare it to in-game, but really it didn't feel... They didn't do the thing where like you're in dire need and then everybody comes. It was just kind of like a ramp up into exactly what you wanted it to be. And I was here for it. Like it just hit me just right. To the point where it had that feeling of you wanted to tell somebody about it afterwards. Like you were like, I want to tell like, my family in the other room what I just experienced, but I can't because they will have like, there's nothing to compare this to. Like it's not like watching a movie and then, even a culmination of movies and what happens because we've been in it for 10 years together as a community, not just like me, myself, but all my friends with me walking through this story and experiencing this content and seeing it resolve. And it's not comparable to anything. Like I can't think of anything that's comparable to, and what a cool experience. So yeah, I loved it. Everything about its story, the way they introduced Prismatic, the way you got to play with your abilities, even with my day one problems, it completely under the water after I finished all through the campaign and everything. And something we were talking about with vault stuff too, and new weapons and stuff. That's what I'm really impressed with is the diversity of like new kinds of things, like exotics, but also just normal weapons. You got a 2-burst pulse rifle now. You like whatever you think about it. I think you were talking on it TV in one of your videos, but like just having all this new stuff and like this Vex rapid fire auto rifle. There's a lightweight auto rifle.
I love that auto rifle, dude. It's so cool.
It's so cool. There's all this stuff that's like so different and feels different. And even if it does similar damage to the other stuff, it just my favorite gun right now, I kid you not, my favorite gun is a heavy burst hand cannon that is a random drop Omelon.
The Omelon one, yeah.
Yeah, dude. That thing packs a punch. You got Swashbuckler on it, and it like I just always have Swash times 5 up, rolling through everything with volatile rounds. Like, what a good time. So we got lots of gear, great story. I'm loving all of it.
I wonder if there's a Crucible drop. So I've played a lot of the other activities. I have not gotten that hand cannon at all. I've gotten the SMG.
It's a world drop. It's in the world loot pool. Yeah.
So just randomly anywhere, yeah.
Surprised I haven't even gotten one. The SMG, like as an example, is newer as well, right? The Yarovit.
Yes.
It's like the lightweight SMG. It's in that same family, right?
Yep. Same.
Yeah, I haven't got a single one.
One of the things I noticed pretty quickly is, and I appreciate this, I kind of get a little bit of like perk fatigue because it feels like every time a new gun comes out, especially as a PvP content creator, like, okay, and again, I'm recommending that you go with Zen Moment, Kill Clip. You know what I mean? But like, for example, we just mentioned the Vex auto rifle. It's an auto rifle. There's no Zen Moment. There's no tap the trigger. There's no dynamic sway reduction. There is no kill clip. It is all like whoever the mad scientist was, maybe Chris Proctor, and the team that's picking the perks for these weapons. They really went like hard into what are perks that synergize well. What are some good build crafting perks? Okay, this is a stasis weapon. How do we lean into that? Let's make sure we give it headstone, but not just headstone. Let's give it like even loose change. People sleep on loose change, but if you're applying elemental debuffs to everything, you're getting 20 aim assist, 30 reload speed. You're getting ADS movement speed penalty reductions. Like, it's crazy. There's like a lot of fun things you can do. So, and that's across the board. I feel like a lot of the guns that we got this time around are sort of a deviation from the conventional. Let's make sure that it's got Zen Moment and Kill Clip. And we're seeing a lot more creative perk combinations. And that makes the hunt more fun. Yeah. Because I'm not just defaulting to the same perk combinations we've been doing for years.
Yeah, same with subclasses too, with abilities. Like I was a Titan most of D1 and beginning of D2, and then I swapped to Hunter. And for the first time, like since I can remember, I'm wanting to play Warlock because of Prismatic. Because I can choose, I don't have to just run the normal Warlock jump. I can run Blink on any way that I run that Prismatic.
Blink and then Phoenix Dive out of it.
Yes. And that's Phoenix Dive, and I can do the Storm Trance like melee charge thing, and so there's just all these different options for play styles that it just really opens the doors to so much variety. And when you mix those with the perks you're talking about, then it really goes over the top where you're like it's almost overwhelming but as long as you're not digging too far into it and you're just hitting surface level, unless you want to dig that far into it, that's great too. But if you're just playing like it and you just start all these things, they just start working together, and you don't really you're not really able to explain it sometimes until you start playing it, and you're like, oh, okay, this thing matches, and this activates that, and you start to feel the flow of it, and it's just so fun, like right off the bat. They did a great job with those initial subclass choices that you get to like really learn Prismatic, I feel like.
Yeah, by the way, a note on that hand cannon. I actually do have two, so I gotta thank you guys.
What do you got? What do you got?
I have so it's a void heavy burst. Just so everybody knows, it's Mahes or Maahes if y'all are looking for it. But yeah, I happen to get a perpetual destabilizing, and I'm a PvE player. So for me, I was like, that's solid.
There you go.
And I remember that dropping and being like, I don't have I have another destabilizing hand cannon that I crafted from last season, I think. But other than that, I don't really have much, so I was excited to get it. But I didn't realize it was a heavy burst, so that's...
I think it's got repulsor brace as well, doesn't it?
I think it can roll that. Yeah. Yeah, you can roll that. I have man, I think it even has Pugilist Swash, which is one that I wanted to get. I think that was one of them. I can't remember.
It does not.
That might be. I might be thinking of Crucible.
Yeah, it has rapid hit. It has Dragonfly too, for those who don't want to.
Enlightened Action is what I've been rolling on it, because
I love that perk.
Oh, it helps so much, because so think about it. It's by hit, and they don't have to be headshots like rapid hit. They can just be hits, and it's a 2 burst. So every time you shoot, you're getting 2 stacks right off the bat of that handling and reload speed. So you max it out within, like 3 shots, 4 shots, and you're maxed out on everything. It feels great.
Yeah, Enlightened, like I've saved on a few, and I haven't like leaned into it too hard, but it seems really nice, especially and you pointed it out, it's reload speed and handling, where rapid hit is reload speed and stability.
Yes.
So
and handling, oh man, I feel that on a on one of these heavy bursts.
Yeah, any weapons that hit hard and reload slow, Enlightened Action is like wonderful for.
And you can now enhance everything new, which is such a huge deal, and you shouldn't sleep on it, because especially this is what got me so excited about the Omlon Heavy Burst Hand Cannon having Swash. Swash is probably the best enhanceable perk in Destiny 2, because it gives 2 full seconds extra of the perk, whereas Adrenaline Junkie, you only get 0.5 seconds extra from enhancing it, but Swash, you get 2 whole seconds. Kill clips, I can't remember kill clips.
Is it 1.5?
Yeah, I just know that 2 seconds is a crazy, going from 4.5 to 6.5. That's a ton of time.
And that really helps with a lot of times with perks like that. You lose time reloading a gun. Like you came out of an engagement, you got the buff, but now your mag's dry, so you got to reload it. And then most of your time is spent reloading the gun. You lose the buff.
Yep. And the other half of being excited about that perk is Swash is refreshed by just kills too. So even though like you think melee, really you only have to, and you got melees up so much with Prismatic, you just throw one of them at some group of PvE enemies. As long as you're getting kills within 6.5 seconds, you'll have that 33.3% buff up all the time. It's great.
So I am begging you, Lego, please, if you don't get a group, we raid every week. You got to do the new raid.
I'll do it,
dude. Because some of the weapons in here that you can get these perks on and enhance is insane. Like the Imminence is the name of the new SMG, and I know that people really sleep on 900 RPM SMGs. The lightweight frame doesn't get a lot of love, but as a warlock, did you get the Metaiodoxia exotic chest piece?
I haven't.
It's like the arcane needles. Things cause these explosions that cause everything to get suspended up in the air.
That's sick.
Which is crazy. Well, the Imminence has Pugilist on it and Desperate Measures, and you can enhance both of them. Like, come on. Nothing's going to be touching the ground anymore. It's super cool.
So I had a related question to this, if that's all right. So for me, I do save a lot because I'm the type of player that kind of will be like, I like switching up builds a lot. I'm a PvE player more than anything. So I just like to have the option, even if I only use it once in a year for a single week that it came to mind. So because of that, my vault has been kind of crazy, right? What I'm getting at with this is I felt with the final shape, though, more than ever, I was like, man, there's so many good potential combinations for build crafting And I'm like, am I crazy that like that kind of always was that? But yeah, I felt like what TV was getting at, you always kind of ended up going Kill Clip and Dragonfly and whatever. And now I'm like, wait, with like strategist and yeah, loose change and like the way that prismatic is and all the mods, I'm like, now I almost feel like they want me to pick like 2 or 3 things because it's way too much. Now, I say that in a good way. Do you feel that like it's kind of pointing you towards like you should probably pick a few builds and chase that? And again, I preface that that might sound crazy, but I never really felt as obligated to do it before.
Definitely. I feel like absolutely because it's not just that there's new interesting perks, it's that prismatic exists and it opens up the doors to all these other perks. Like Desperate Measures was one that was like it was a good perk before, but now that there's so many abilities on the field and Desperate Measures will activate no matter what weapon you're on. If you just got a kill, you swap to that weapon, Desperate Measures is there waiting for you. And then there's stuff like something like Slice. Like Slice is you kind of have to think about it perk, but in PvE, if you're just using your class ability and activating Slice and debuffing your target and killing them and you're a hunter and you're going invis afterwards, like
all the time.
That's great stuff that just didn't exist before, not in this way anyway. Like it did other things, but now it's just stacking on top of so much prismatic stuff. It does kind of feel like there's more to chase. And yeah, if somebody feels overwhelmed, definitely like pick something and kind of chase it for sure. But yeah, there's a lot.
And this is where crafting starts to shine. I never really crafted before because one, when it first launched, it just took way too long for me personally. Because again, I play a lot of other games, and I was like, you know what? Everyone's like, you can just craft it. I'm like, yeah, but I got to get 5 of these frames. I'm like, I'm not gonna grind for that, dude. I hopping in and out of the seasons, blah blah blah. But now, like, I'm getting so much stuff, and I have already a good base of stuff to craft that I really feel inclined to like build some stuff. So yeah, I feel like it's in a really good place. It felt like it took a leap, is all I was pointing out, and I was wondering if I was crazy with the final shape, especially. I was like, holy cow! Like you can just build craft so many things.
You know where it didn't take a leap though? Like, this is my one
good segue.
My one thing that I do not like about all the drops we got, and that is that out of the last 90 more than 90, above 90 new weapons that we have had drop since Season of the Wish, there has been one fusion rifle. Out of 90 plus weapons, a single fusion rifle, and it is the most standard, boring fusion that I feel like I could ask for. Like it's fine. It's great for, I think what they were trying to do was make a main ingredient for everyone, basically. Like, hey, you haven't been here. Here, you can craft this fusion that can get 100 range and is super easy to use. It has PvE perks. It's not the Eremite, but it'll get the job done.
Which
and
one?
That it's the one Ikora's fusion with Ikora's face on it from the Pale Heart. So it starts with a
the green one.
Yeah,
green and ivory sort of one.
Axial Lacuna.
Yep, Axial. There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
you're not impressed with
no, and
its options.
Everybody knows this, or anybody who's been following my stuff. But like, I'm gonna talk about it, but it's like I don't want to because there's stuff in here for somebody else, I'm sure, because it's got Kickstarted. And I think it was Dado who put out a video that was saying like this is the first solar precision we've gotten since year 1, or like the only legendary solar precision frame fusion ever. But it's just very basic, incredibly basic. It's disappointing when out of all of this new stuff that's so cool and all these interesting perks, and then we got this fusion.
So I'm no expert, but I clicked on the Eremite, Royal Executioner, and this. I don't know if there's another option, but I think it's the only one that rolls with Demolitionist, which is interesting at least.
Yeah, there's some Lightfall Fusion, the rapid fire, the arc one.
I could be wrong, but
had demo on it. So that's the one that's like there are
did
other
it have Incandescent and
no, but see,
to me it's PvE, and I'm like I could again like I'm not feeling the chase. I totally agree with your sentiment. I was just like they're doing a lot of this where this is the only gun that has this combination.
Yeah.
If you really want that, but you're right, like you nailed it. You're like, but you probably crafted like an Eremite. Why would you bother?
Exactly. The baseline is whatever you want to do with this, there's probably something else that does it better. And so that's why I'm like, it's for newer players. That's fine. That's fine. I did. It does make me want to ask y'all though, because you bring up Incandescent, and this is maybe I just don't understand the concept of some of the solar abilities enough. But I feel like Jolt, super easy to understand. It's the same every weapon. You just shoot, it works. You reload, and then volatile rounds, super easy concept. All the other stuff is really, but Scorch stacks. It's just like it's another layer of things that you have to like really build into with a solar specific subclass, or else it doesn't really work right. And
it works after a few shots, you know. It's like a contagious dragonfly almost. That you just start shooting things and things catch fire, you know. But it's a debuff.
But on a special weapon specific, like I get it on like a submachine gun, a sidearm, an auto rifle, but on a special weapon, why? Like, I feel like a lot of people are talking about, Incandescent, and I just wonder why.
You nailed it before, because it's a debuff now, and especially with Prismatic. So I'm a hunter, invisibility, constantly. Everything's catching fire, invis, constantly. And so you'd be like, well, why don't you use Controlled Burst, or you use Reservoir? Because I'm not going to go invisible.
But why not on a primary, I think is my question. Like, why would you get excited about it?
Usually, if you're using a special weapon, it's for the bigger targets. Yeah, not your ad clear, unless it's a rocket sidearm.
Yeah. That was kind of my point.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, why not use a SMG or something? Like, because if this is your special, you're going to use it for damaging the big guys, and you're not actually killing them to make Incandescent go off.
For that.
Yeah, I was trying to like look at like what did I potentially use it on, because I was looking at my my fusions, and actually I've used it, and you're right, like it's good, but I don't know that I'd go to it. I have a trace rifle with it, and
trace, that'd be good. That sounds good for it.
The trace is probably the best use case, and actually you should remember that Prometheus lens now does Scorch, so super fun.
Yeah,
the sound effect is badass. Put on Prometheus, and since it does Scorch and is a debuff now, you will have so much fun with it. But otherwise, the trace rifle, retrace path from.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, those are 30th anniversary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good point though. Yeah, I use it pretty much only on the primary types. You're right.
No, that's good. I was just curious because it's something that I've been thinking about for the past week. I'm like, why would I use this? But that's
a glaive too. You know, I know that not as many. I love glaives; they're a lot of fun to use, and I don't know other than there's Judgment of Kelgaroth that has it, but.
That's the reason I want to get in the raid TV. New glaive, craftable, the first craftable rapid fire.
Yeah, it's got some pretty good perks on it too. I will say this because, you know, I may not be a fusion rifle guy, but I can say that I'm at least a little bit bummed that between the Pale Heart location, the Echoes weapons, and the raid weapons, there's no primary side. We got another rocket sidearm, which is cool.
But not yet. You got weeks to go in a 18-week cycle here.
I was thinking about that. I could almost guarantee you, and this is why I think we're getting some other iconic weapons, because Trophy Hunter is not in this group of weapons. And that was on their list of weapons they wanted to reprise from Season of Lost. Wasn't that a Season of Lost weapon? So yeah, I don't know. I just think there's some classic weapons missing here and there's some, if you look in the seasonal model for the next two stages of this, not seasonal, you know what I mean? Episodes. There's like the 3 steps of the episode. And if you look ahead, it says like undisclosed weapon. Like it won't let you see what's coming. So there's other legendary stuff that is yet to be released for sure. And then I'm talking about a super minor gripe too, but I agree with TV. Like that, I definitely was hoping to see some more sidearms too. We got the adaptive one that's a world drop now.
Yeah, and it's not bad. But
yeah, it's fine.
But there's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm an optimist and reinforcing like we're week 3, and I think it's a good thing that you're like, man, I kind of wanted this, and there's redacted stuff in the Act 1, 2, 3 or 2 and 3. And so, like, maybe you'll be coming around 6 weeks from now, be like, oh, dude, I got it. And that gives you something to get you back, you know, because you got 18 full weeks here.
Sure. I will say this. I'm not actually a huge fan of the way they time-gated the catalyst for Red Death.
Yeah.
Like, they've never done that. And it's like, yeah. Cause the thing is, they set the standard, right? Because every new season, they have a new seasonal exotic weapon. And on day 1, you can start working through your progress of getting your catalyst unlocked. So I wasn't hugely a fan of them locking the Red Death Catalyst away to a future part of the episode, months
Agreed.
away from now, because they've just never done that before. We're used to whatever the season pass weapon is, you can get the catalyst right then and there. So didn't care for that.
Yeah, that was a bummer to see, honestly, like, because that was the first thing that you kind of get used to, just going up to the gunsmith and grabbing the catalyst for the to work on while you're using the gun. And so because it wasn't there, I didn't use Red Death during the story. Like, it's a great gun.
That's right. I was going to say
it's
the same
killer,
thing.
but
A lot of times with these new seasonal weapons, you're just like, oh, this is the new thing I get at level 1 on the battle pass that I paid for. I'll go to Banshee, I'll get the quest, and so I'll just keep using this weapon, this brand new weapon I want to use through the new campaign, and I'll level up the catalyst as I do it. I did that with Grand Overture and all these other weapons, and that's just kind of the sort of rhythm we got used to, and so I was a little shocked when that wasn't an option.
yeah,
Not a huge deal, a little nitpicky, but
That's my
no,
style.
Hey, the fact that 2 of the 4 of us had that same reaction says something, And on top of that, there was another fusion, kind of. I forgot that I did use the entire story, and that was Tessalation, which was already in the game, but they got a catalyst for it now. It's a very expensive catalyst. I think it's like you have to pay the full $100 to get every episode and the final shape together before you get that gun. So yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You have to buy the limit. Wait.
You have to buy the full everything to get the catalyst, to get maybe the gun at all, but for sure the catalyst for Tessalation. The fusion rifle.
Oh, really? So the Tessalation catalyst is only included in the limited run right now.
Yeah, right now. I'm sure it'll come. Yeah. And even that I've been a little disappointed by, because I used it the entire campaign. It's super strong. I'm not saying it's not, especially with Prismatic, where you get so many abilities. But the catalyst adds a like the elemental debuff of whatever element you're running, which I guess that it would be when Tessalation first came out. And so that's cool. That's what I wanted it to do. But it doesn't. It only applies it to the enemies that are hit by it and don't die, which usually when I shoot it into a group of enemies, they all die. And so it's like, it doesn't really change the way I play much unless I'm fighting a boss, which is still strong and has its benefits when you add weaken, because it actually weakens. It doesn't make volatile, which is, really helpful. But I was hoping it would like actually affect, everything and blow it up and make me invis as a hunter. Like it would actually debuff them, but it doesn't. It just blows them up.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, the annual pass or the annual pass upgrade, and you're right, that both brings you to 100 for that. In other words, I just figured Tessalation was probably dropping somewhere in the world, but I guess it makes some sense. Again, we're only on week 3. I kind of wonder they'll probably put it in the world.
There keeps being
within these episodes. Like
there keeps being more stuff that drops like that too that I'm surprised with. Like they reworked competitive, which I don't know if you've brought this up, TV, at all. Well, you only came on week 1, so you probably didn't get a chance to play comp yet. Then
I have now.
Yeah, you have now, I'm sure. But having the exotic catalyst drop randomly in comp has been super helpful. Like just random stuff I didn't have just dropping.
Yeah, because I never got the Wicked Implement catalyst.
Same. Yeah.
I really like Wicked Implement, but I never got the catalyst. So when that dropped, I was like, oh, heck yeah. So I finished that out, and I will, hey, quick tip for folks, Wicked Implement this season in PvP is actually very, very good because of I forget the name of it, but there's an artifact mod perk that makes it so that anytime you kill a stasis debuffed enemy with a stasis weapon, it does this like a slowing explosion AoE. And I was showing my chat on stream yesterday, a couple days ago. I've had full team wipes in comp because I killed the first guy with Wicked Implement, and since I killed him, Wicked Implement slows targets when you shoot precision damage. So the 3rd bullet slows them, 4th bullet kills them. There's a slowing explosion now that slows both of the teammates next to him. He created a headstone. I shoot the headstone, it blows up for big damage too. And you just get full. I've got full team wipes doing this. I'm gonna make a video on it because it's just so silly, but it's stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, got the Wicked Implement Catalyst, which applies the headstone, which is great. I also got the Final Warning Catalyst doing comp as well. So
nice. That's good to know. I can get that in there. I'll just keep playing some comp. That's fun. Cool.
Briar, there's a 31 on the screen. I don't know if you know that, but other than that, don't worry about it.
On the
In the
screen.
upper left, I guess. For those one, I think people think it's some secret giveaway if they're watching, but maybe it's a Twitch thing. I don't know, but FYI.
I don't know why that showed up.
Right, sending secret signals to people.
Yeah, I think people are out there like trying to look for a secret.
It's like an inside joke. He's up there like, this is 31 complaints TV's made about sidearms this episode. Let's see how long it takes to notice. She chats in on it.
Exactly.
They were just out for me and TV this expansion. They're like, nope, no more sidearms, no fusions. Y'all gotta try some new stuff.
And I was also a little bit peeved that they took the Swift Verdict out of the loot pool for the dungeon last season too. And had 2 pulse rifles. I'm like, come on, man.
Come on.
There are officially no precision sidearms in the game that you can get from a drop somewhere other than Boudica. That's it. It's like, you're killing me, guys. You're killing me.
Hopefully there's more on the way.
Would have loved to have that origin trait on a Swift Verdict.
Like you were talking
yeah.
a little bit before the show about the 2-man activity. I can't remember what it's called now.
Duel.
Dual Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah. What you were saying? There's quite a bit of controversy about that.
Yeah, it has been blowing up this past week because it is a activity you cannot solo, and I think it's become a bigger and bigger deal because it's the exotic class items that were so heavily they told us like, you're getting these, and everybody got so pumped for them. They're like, it's a activity you can play again and again, get the role you want, and then they find out it's got to be 2 players going in to get it, and it's like raid like mechanics. And because of that, it has become, like, by what some would call content creator standards, the best exotic mission we've ever had. But I think a lot of people genuinely do super enjoy this mission. I actually went and LFG'd it through Fireteam Finder because I at the time I just didn't have any. It's a weird kind of quest to get started because you have to have so much world activity stuff done, and if you don't and your friends are doing it, they're like, they can be on different steps and not get in at the same time. And so when I got done, just everybody's busy, so I just Fireteam Findered it, and it was great. It was a really enjoyable experience, but I know not everyone has had that experience, and that's kind of been the controversy, is people getting in there or just not wanting to try it or not being able to try it for whatever reason, not being able to play with other people and get these really cool class items.
Personal take on that is, I don't mind it. I know that this is coming from a guy that's, I'm in a clan and I play
32?
a lot and I know a lot of people, you know what I mean? 32. yeah, just lay it on. But I don't mind it because I mean, there's been plenty of games that I played growing up before I was ever a content creator where I just understood there are some things, some loot out there that's probably not targeting the way that I play specifically. There's lots of different ways to play games. And especially a game as big as Destiny, the way you prefer to play games may not always be specifically what Bungie has in mind when they're designing an encounter or a mission or an activity. One of the biggest things that I hate is that Destiny doesn't have like it's based on 3s, right? Fire teams of 3s and fire teams of 6s. Well, my core gaming group, me, my wife, and our 2 best friends from college, we game 3 to 4 nights a week. But there's 4 of us, so there's nothing we can do in Destiny together other than raid. But they don't want to do end game Destiny stuff. They just want to just chill. You know what I mean? So there's nothing we can just hop into together usually. And I'm not taking them into quick play. So,
yep.
So but it's just like, you just understand that sometimes it's just the way it is. And if you want to get loot that it targets a different kind of person or a different way of playing the game, you either have to be willing to adjust to it or just understand that that's not for me. That was me playing World of Warcraft just alone. I knew that I probably wasn't going to be in these big raids, and there's some builds that were not going to be obtainable to me because the way I played it back then was really different. So anyways, that's my spiel. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, last week we had briefly touched on it. I hadn't finished it yet, so I can actually respond to it now. And yeah, I totally get the frustration. And what I would say is, of course, I sympathize with those people that are like, I just play solo normally. I always do the exotic stuff. I like the challenge. I think if you look across Destiny, though, like it's always been a thing that there's just things you cannot do solo, including right the raid and so you sort of accept the like, look, some things you can't. And in this, so what happens is it becomes taken away from you. That I was asking, and I'm not sure. I didn't never fact checked it. I'm like, is this the first exotic quest that you cannot solo? Like, is that really? Because I never do it that way. I usually play with people. So if it is that, regardless, it feels taken away. And that it's always harder to work backwards. So I do understand it. But what I would say is I'm with you, TV, and it sounds like Lego as well. It's like, well, I'm fine with it. It occurred to me that they really want to push people together. And with the development of Fireteam Finder, I think they're looking for more ways to get people on comms, and a class item and that is a brand new hot thing is sure as heck the way to get people to not just isolate in a game that is meant to be played together. And I understand for accessibility reasons and other stuff too, it creates problems. But all I can say is a super fun mission. If you take that element away as well, though, it completely changes, right, the mission.
Right.
It's like taking away raid mechanics or something. Be like, well, you can just do it on your own, and it doesn't work the same way at all. And I think that takes away some of the gameplay.
It's thematic too, because
the whole
class item is the whole idea is you're taking two exotics and fusing them together. It's the the duality. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only last thing I would say on it is the hot new item. And I know some people would be mad at me saying this, but I'm like, it's not like you can't play Prismatic and still enjoy it with, say, Renewal Grasps. It's just this adds to it. And so it's a little different than, say, the Ergo Sum Catalyst, which we'll probably talk about, which, by the way, you cannot solo to get. So, well, wait, you can. I take that back. I heard that Azadaric did it or something. But
like one person can do it.
It's pretty difficult. It's pretty darn. You're probably not going to be able to do it. So my point is, like, there's just some stuff, like, say, the Ergo Sum Catalyst that, like, of course you got to play with other people, 11 other people. But I'm cool with it. And honestly, yeah, to the point of like the whole theme and the surprise of what Dual Destiny is really cool. I'm glad they did it. And I think more people need to just push themselves to get on comms. And then the last question I had is, don't you have to do the co-op focus missions? You pretty much have to do the same way as well. I think it takes at least 2 people. Granted, you don't get as good of a reward, but you know those 3 missions in the Pale Heart? You get a deep sight pinnacle for the weekly rotator. Red border. Yeah.
You also, that's how you get the microcosm as well, right?
Oh yeah, and you have to do it for that. So wait, don't you have to like, because there's something you have to do. I know
there's a mechanic where you have to jug, like the witness is basically gonna kill one of you, and it's on a timer, and you just gotta trade that over to the other person.
But meaning you can't solo that, right?
I don't think so.
So how would you get microcosm? Isn't it the same problem? You know.
I think it's just because it's the class, like because it's something that was so. People feel that it is essential to Prismatic. They feel like they're really missing out on stuff, and
you want to farm it.
Yeah, I can see why some people are upset, but I have also seen and want to highly encourage people to try out Fireteam Finder, try out, one of these, because I think you're right, Fran. I do think this is a push to, hey, we built this thing specifically for this. What's the way that we can get people to use it? This is like the greatest incentive, and there are people like there's a post on Reddit. It was like up there in the like 2,000 upvotes a few days ago. I was one of the ones who was making posts like about how terrible this is and how I just like don't want to do this and I never solo anything. And then I tried Fireteam Finder and holy heck, that mission was amazing. I'm so glad I did it, like took a few tries or something like that. I don't know how the story went, but like they were so glad that they finally did use Fireteam Finder and try it. And now they're going to be using Fireteam Finder more because they did. And this is one of those missions too, where if it's a voice thing, I'm pretty sure people are doing it via text chat. Like you don't have to use voice. I'm pretty sure you could use text chat to do this mission. So like, I don't know. And not saying that covers everyone. I know that it won't. But I am on the fence of like, there can be some things in games that just require more than one person, and that's okay, especially in a game like Destiny.
And I would end it on I think Bungie's listening, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that if there's a period of time that we're doing it this way, and then they're like, oh, by the way, now it does just randomly drop, period, from the Pale Heart chest, or because I think you have to unlock it first.
That's right.
It starts doing it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, now it'll start dropping for you, and like we had a good time to push people in there, but maybe it's not going to be forever.
I could see that. Yeah. And that's a good point too, that, you don't have to be afraid of having to go in there over and over again. You just have to do it once and then it drops in the Pale Heart just randomly. So
Good question, though. Yeah.
What else we got going on?
I don't think any of us played the 12 person Grandmaster Excision final mission thing, which I heard a lot of good things about that once you got into it, but I have no direct experience of any
Yeah,
indirect
I was
experience.
gonna do it, but we had the servers like pooped
Yeah.
out
Right.
on us at reset, and we had a bunch of us on and ready to try, but it didn't end up
Yeah.
happening.
I'm going
So
to
I
do it
never,
by
never
next
got
week.
back around to it.
Yeah, I should have more impressions next week. To be fair, too, it's a power per hour grind thing. It's not you do
Right.
need to if you find somebody with wait, I don't know if Fireteam Power is enabled on that one. Does anybody?
I don't know
But
off the top
yeah,
of my head.
it because of that, it does gate some things that you're out there grinding pinnacles and stuff, which I've played tons of Final Shape already, and I'm 1993 base power. So
How do you feel about the Pathfinder system?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Yep.
I would love to talk about that.
Shoot.
Go.
Now I'll start it. So I really like it for the Pale Heart, and I think that's pretty undisputed. Like everybody's like, cool. There's this system for the world drops. That's great. You do everything in the Pale Heart. The problem comes up when you're a Crucible player, you're a Strikes player, and there's a node that requires a Gambit game, and you like interrupt your entire flow to go get this thing done. Now, to me, it's not that big of a deal to go play a Gambit game. Like that's okay. It's not.
It is to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got
There's
two.
There's hell before you find me in a Gambit match.
Yeah, what are you, some kind of gambeteer?
There's two things that hold me back from that completely, though, and that is one, the system is set up to not change activities because you have a what is it? When you do strikes in a row or Crucible in a row, you have a
Bonus.
like a counter that says you've got 5 rolling, like don't play something else, and so you want to keep doing that so you get more experience points. So you go play something else and you're like, like I just screwed that up, So one, the system's there that doesn't want me to go play other place, but then Pathfinder's telling me to play other stuff. So I don't like that. And then the other side to that is I'm a very big advocate in this game, and what has kept me playing for so long and what keeps me from getting burnt out is I only play the stuff that is fun, that I want to play. And so if a node is telling me to go do something else, I'm just not going to go do it. Like that's just not the way that I play Destiny, and that keeps the game fun for me. So in that regard, I don't like the Pathfinder system.
I don't know who planned the Crucible nodes, but I don't think they play Crucible. Because some of these are
Whoa.
no, Fran, listen to me. Sometimes it's like the first path of the Pathfinder is like, get 3 auto rifle kills in PvP. I'm like, boom, that's easy. Done. The next note is, why don't you get 10 grenade kills in PvP? It's like, do you know how many hours of PvP you gotta play to get 10 grenade final blows? Like, usually with grenades, you're priming targets. You're not cleaning. Like you're probably ending a single Crucible match with 1 or 2 final blows with a grenade. And that's that's pretty good.
That's if you're tossing them trying to get them.
Yeah, you're like, please land.
Yeah, change the way you play, which I always hate. It's funny you say that because, like, to me, the uninformed, not thinking about those, I'd pick up a bunch of bounties from shacks and looking at this, that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I'm like, wasn't there just like I guess there probably was a bounty. You think it's possible there was a bounty for this exact thing, but now they've put it in a direct path. Is that maybe what happened?
I think so.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't think about like, this is step 2. I would have skipped that.
Yeah.
And now it makes you go play Gambit instead.
Yep.
And so we talked about this, and I don't think that's their intent, but I do think that would be their response. So wouldn't you just go around it? Like what you would never do it because you are smart enough. So don't you have a solution still? It's just uncomfortable.
Smart enough
takes
not
you
to play
out of
Gambit.
In other words, it takes you out of Crucible to get around it.
My solution is don't play. I don't look at the Pathfinder.
I just get my powerful drops from raids. That's it.
So actually, I really like, and I would just dig into it by saying I totally agree with you, but I would point out, because I brought it up on another episode, is I actually think they are trying to get people out of a single playlist, and this was partially their way to do it. Again, I don't think they intentionally put an annoying 10 grenade thing in there, just like a byproduct of the old bounties, but they wanted you to pop into Onslaught or Gambit. Sorry, I know people play Gambit. I'm not making fun. It's
Who
just
plays
funny to say
Gambit?
it because it's like one of 3 things that you could
Put the
potentially do
35
in
up there, Briar. 35.
But by the way, pro tip for real, if you haven't taken a close look, in Onslaught, you can literally get like a whole path done. At least with this week as an example, in like 10 minutes. It's nuts if you put on the right build. And so there's a way around it at least, and I think they want you to like feel that. Do you think that is viable, or do you want them to fix it still? You're like, no, a single path should be, good.
If they really want, if the goal with Pathfinder was to simplify the chase of your powerful drops, then I think that yes, since we did have that kind of agency previously, it was just you could make your choices. Then they should probably revamp it in such a way that you can get to that powerful drop without having to pre-plot a course around the things you don't want to do. You know what I mean? That's just my personal take on it. I don't think it's a bad system. I just think they need to iterate on it a little bit more and kind of dial it in so that it's right now. And part of this is just content creator woes, because admittedly, like when I'm playing the game right now, I'm primarily playing because I'm trying to get certain things done. Like, okay, well, I really need to get my review out for this Pulse rifle. It's like, get 10 auto rifle kills. It's like, I can't do that right now. It's not what I'm focused on. You know what I mean? So part of that is just boohoo content creators whining again because he has to stop making content to get his powerful drop. But.
Yeah, but it is interesting though, because I guess before there would have been like excess bounties, right? And you would just pick them up, and you'd always be getting some XP from that, right?
Well, with bounties, you could delete them and grab them again, and it would refresh to a different one if you're doing the refreshable ones. And so that was a comment in chat here. Nightshade was saying, why don't we have refreshable nodes on the thing where it costs like Glimmer or something?
That was a good suggestion.
Re-roll it.
Oh yeah, the whole thing.
Or the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know, one or the other. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think
honestly, I think that the system, like you're saying, TV, it just needs some iteration on it, and I feel that because there is something satisfying about going through and clicking all the nodes, or even thinking about, I do really want that powerful gear, especially at the beginning for Pathfinder. They put the sword Arrow Sum in the
Pale Heart
into the Pale Heart Pathfinder node, and so I wanted to get that, so I was doing the stuff and plotting my course, and it was satisfying to like hit all the nodes, and so it worked there, but just for a power level in, I don't know, in the Crucible and stuff, I'm not going to go switch up what I'm playing just to do that.
Well, if you are on the power grind, I do want to reinforce, do the Pathfinder ritual and do it in Onslaught, at least based on, I think, last week and this week. You can basically, it was like blind, arc, blank, 10 precision kills. And I just went in Onslaught, and it is confusing because the end says it's a prime engram and it's a pinnacle. And so you can get 2 of those done very quickly if you are trying to get your pinnacles. That's what they are. They say prime, but they're pinnacle. I tested it thoroughly.
Nice.
What else is going on?
Has anyone else had a chance to do any raiding?
No.
With the Salvation's Edge raid?
I've been not. Busy. Too busy.
I'm doing like stuff like Pathfinder, and like to be quite honest, I'm a little salty that we would have finished it, the first weekend, and like again, I respect the world first race, but locking it for a full 48 hours, like I would have liked to finish it once the race was over, and I've talked a lot about that till I'm blue in the face. So part of it is that I'm like, my team is disbanded and I got to get a new one, but I do really enjoy it, and it takes a lot of work. So I'm going to, but I've been kind of enjoying a little, let's call it downtime before I head back in.
Yeah. I think it's the best raid in Destiny 2.
Dang. That's high
it's
praise.
Really good.
It looks that way. And the gear looks that way.
Normally for me, when it comes to raiding, because I'm a PvP guy primarily, that's where I like to spend my time in Destiny. I'll do my PvE stuff, but I always tell people, to me, that's like eating your veggies. It's like, I want to enjoy my meat and my dessert, but I got to eat my veggies and just get that out of the way. And that's what PvE traditionally is for me. Outside of some activities that I do thoroughly enjoy, like dungeons and stuff like that. But raids for me, usually when raids drop, I'm the guy that's like, yes, for the next 4 weeks, I will live in this raid until I can craft everything in it. And then I will be done. And I enjoyed it, but I'm done. But with this raid, I'm like, I have never wanted to make raid guides. I made guides for 3 of the encounters. I've
They
never
were great
wanted to.
too.
I've never wanted. Thank you. I've never wanted to chase the title. You know, like get all the seals for the raid before. I've already got a team to do that. A team that's committed to doing all the challenges
What is
and
the
taking all the
title?
boxes. I
Remember?
forget what it's called off
Okay.
the top of my head. I just knew
All
that I
good.
wanted it. But
So
but
yeah,
yeah,
you're like, this is the first one,
this is
maybe
the first
forever.
one. Yeah. Well, and like the roles in this raid
Mm.
to me are exciting. To like for my team for the final encounter, I'm the glyph runner. You know, I'm one of the guys that's going out there, and it's a fun mini game to play while everyone's trying to cover your back and keep the ads off of you. And there's screams that want to blow up on you, and then there's the threadling guys that want to yank you across the map, and then you've
Yeah.
got subjugators spawning on plates. You know, and you got to trust your team to take those things out quickly and efficiently so that they don't kill you while you're running around to the hands and doing this relay. And there's like optimization you can do in there where you're like, if I get too many stacks, I'm gonna die. But what if I just like literally fly through this area of effect and shoot the hand while I'm flying through it? And if you could pull that shot off and you don't pick up another stack of resonance, it's just like super cool stuff that you can do in this raid. I just think it was very well thought through. The mechanics are fun.
That's cool.
The team like roles are fun from encounter to counter. I really enjoy being in there. And it doesn't feel like eating my veggies. This is like, no, this is eating good. This is eating good.
Nice. I think Iconoclast is the title.
Mm.
That's dope. I'm gonna have it.
That's a good name. That's a good title.
Yeah, the thing for me with Raiden is that there's just so much to do in Destiny. Like I got a lot to do in life right now too, but like this new stuff has been dropping so frequently. Like just this past week we had the, like you're saying, 12-man like GM basically, and then we had the dual Destiny drop. That was just, a little over a week ago. And so that, and then the new Echoes episode came, and we've had 2 of those go through now, and it just keeps coming. Content just keeps coming and keeps coming, and it's just kind of a lot to do, especially if you're like trying to craft some of these things and like really target farming specific things. Between that and then actually using them like in the Crucible or in strikes and everything, it's just a lot to try out and do. And right now I'm doing other characters. Like I was saying, I'm playing my Warlock for the first time in forever, and just learning that again, alongside of just a normal character, that's been the thing for me. For you, TV, you talked about raiding is like the thing, like, oh, I haven't felt this way in a long time. For me, it's like building up my alts. Like I haven't touched my alts in so long, but it's also exciting with all the new abilities that I'm eating good there.
I knew I had to get over and play some Titan when I saw that there's a chess piece that makes you launch rockets.
Oh, the rockets!
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I got to do that. That looks too cool to pass up. I'll log off my Warlock for a while and try that out. That's what I was doing today.
That's awesome.
I was gonna say, I know time's been flying tonight, but could we talk about like how we're feeling about episodes?
Yes.
Is that cool, Briar?
Yeah. How do you feel about
it?
Yeah, just making sure because of social questions, other topics. Yeah, no, the big discussion piece that I've seen and was curious how you guys feel is, well, one, just impressions, of course, of what you think of it, since I don't know if we've heard from both of y'all on it, but more importantly is there was an expectation set by the showcase last August that it's become redundant in some ways, and they sort of said almost by design, like they've been consistent with the storytelling, but they want to like get things changed up and have 9 beats across 6 weeks or so, whatever the exact language there was, and maybe make things a little weird now and then. And so that was the setup, and here we are. So how are you guys feeling about that expectation and/or the episode?
I hope it gets there to where it feels different and foreign and like we're not doing the same thing. But right now, at least, it just feels like it's just another season. Like it's just another seasonal activity. And it's not that it's not a fun activity. Like I enjoy going in there. There's lots of ad clearing to do. Some basic mechanics. Please, for the love of God, Blueberries, learn to look up. If you're holding a cranium, look up, please. But see people pick up a cranium, go run off, and they're like, "Let's shoot the hoop to shoot the." But
Also,
Anyways.
didn't they teach you that in the opening
In the
mission? They
opening
forgot
mission,
that
yeah.
quickly.
Please.
Maybe they skipped it somehow, but
I don't
anyway.
know, man, but you're killing me, guys.
Look
but
up.
it's not that it's not a fun activity. I do enjoy it, but it's just it feels like the same old, and not only that, but at the very beginning of the episode tonight, Fran, you mentioned just a one-off comment about how and there's so much loot in this activity, dude. One session, I was able to craft the auto rifle, and I had like 6 other red borders for other weapons. One gaming session in this activity, because you're getting loot for just completing it. You're also getting loot because you're picking up Radiolarian samples from all over the map and then dunking them in a separate receptacle at the end of the mission. And then you're going back to failsafe, and you're getting even more drops. And you're getting lots of I don't know about you guys, but by the time I got to the seasonal activity, I had like 60 echoes engrams already stockpiled. So I was like, I have everything I want. Then it's like the seasonal activity has been out for this is the second week or something. Yeah. So I
still have a lot of stuff I need to get from there because for crafting, and I didn't have any like stockpile of anything.
I think it helps that you play a lot of Crucible because they drop a lot from Crucible. Those engrams, like the seasonal ones.
Yeah.
Well,
actually,
I found most of mine came out of Pale Heart chests.
Oh,
I was
interesting.
Because I sidelined Crucible for a while because I was like, I need to get raid ready. I need to get the Kvostov quest knocked out, which, by the way, that gun is a friggin' dream come true.
Oh, that's the one thing I haven't grabbed yet, and I got killed by it so much in Trials.
It's so cool. They like built in a little mini game on it because it's got shoot to loot, but also it's also got this perk called Eyes Up Guardian. So anytime you pick up an orb of power, you get 7 bullets that do extra bounces. So you shoot a guy with a bullet that goes from him to another guy, back to him, and then back to another guy. You know what I mean? So it's like for the price of 1 bullet, and then you get 7 of those banked, and it's just it's so cool. And it's
we should call it Eyes Up Blueberries.
It's amazing for ad clear and the raid as well. Like, it is so fun. So they knew what they were doing with it.
I need to grab
you got to
it.
do that.
But
yeah, on my to-do list.
So it sounds like you're fine with the episode overall, is what I'm hearing. But like, you're hoping for more.
I'm very uninterested. I think. Okay, I will say this: the failsafe writing has gotten better.
Oh yeah.
I've always felt like failsafe as a character the writers were trying too hard, and they were trying to force this fun dichotomy with her character that just felt kind of cringy at times. But I don't know if. I mean, obviously, Failsafe's original writing wasn't, that came out in 2017. So it might even be different writers that are working with her character right now. But her character is a lot better. I will say that, and I enjoy that.
You kind of sounded like her for a second. A lot better.
A lot better.
Listen, I need trying to figure out how to say this appropriately, but I love Failsafe. I think she's awesome.
He loves AI.
I feel like
Confirm
she
chat.
makes. Yeah, she makes the episodes for me. Like I'm in. What Failsafe? Just talk to me. Whatever I'm doing, I don't care. As long as she's with me.
They could have recorded more voice lines for her. I feel like though too.
Yeah,
they do get real redundant, real repetitive. So
I can see that.
But it's better.
A couple of them
it is better.
It's funny you say that. A couple of them I really like the one where it's like you see all powerful and whatever that one is. And the first time I heard it, I was like, that's pretty
murderous.
funny.
And murderous.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a really good delivery, a really good line that works exactly for what this character is. And I was like, that's really good. And then it came up like 2 minutes later, and I was like, you know what? I hope I don't hear that too much. And sure enough, so yeah, that would be a nice change.
Yeah, I was worried whenever we got the trailer for the episode. Her voice sounded a little different. Like everybody was like, "Is it a different voice actors?" But like it's great. The line deliveries are great. It sounds just like the failsafe, but like you said, the writing it feels a little bit more solid. I agree, TV. And
is better.
Interesting thing with this season episode. I'm gonna keep saying that it launched with a cinematic. And then kind of gave you another cinematic and didn't get anything this week, at least that I've hit yet. I completed the first half of it. And so it's just interesting. Like I felt like maybe we were going to get a little bit more. Maybe we will as time goes on. Like you said, it's second week. Can't really tell. Getting lots of loot. It feels good so far. And there's 3 stages to this episode. So it's kind of one of those things we're going to kind of have to feel it out. I am a little... I guess lost from the way we used to do things as far as getting the gear and targeting it. It doesn't seem to really be a way to other than just picking out your stuff, but there's no like guaranteed red border for doing this or that like there usually is. It's just
There's
like, well,
weekly.
But there's not for the seasonal, is there?
No, there is. So you should have I'm almost certain. There's a weekly reset red border.
I think you have to.
Unless I'm thinking of the Pale Heart, though. You can
Oh,
do
you
the
have
Pale
to-
Heart, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you have to level
pretty sure you
Pale
can.
Safe more.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
swear that you can do it with her, but I might be.
Yeah,
you
I
definitely
gotta-
can do it in Pale Heart. I might have mixed the two up, but
I think I got a guaranteed red border from her this week.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I know for sure it's in the text. They just don't say it anywhere if it is the case. Because they say it for the Pale Heart. It's
So-
like, hey, here's an upgrade, guaranteed red border, and then on failsafe, I haven't seen that yet.
I'll go take a look because I had it open in the background. And yeah, by the way, props to them. I said it before, but they added the upgrade table back to the table where before it was like in the season pass. And so it got like confusing of like, where do I find this? But anyway, I just wanted to say of the, I think, controversy over, you said this in the showcase. You said it was a little redundant. Just allow you to do weird things and change things up. And I logged in and everything's the same. And I would say, like, look, you can feel the polish is there. I thought, the opening mission, letting you learn the mechanics, that was really nice upgrade. The cutscenes are telling of like more to come.
That's what I'm hoping.
So you nailed it, Lego, which is like, we're only on week 3. I totally understand why people were like, wait, we're just back at the helm and you reset everything and it's kind of the same deal. And like, I get that. But what I'd say is Act 2 comes out on, I had the date up, July 16th. And Act 3 is August 27th. And they did verbatim, I checked it. The general manager, you're right, during the showcase said, allows us to try some weird things. There's also talk, I think, some rumors about the exotic mission maybe attached to this coming out in the 3rd act. And so it remains to be seen still. So I understand first impressions, but we're going to have to play out until after August, well, into September, really, before we really fully, know how it's going to play out.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I was just gonna say in chat they're saying you have to complete the second half of this week's mission to get the weekly red border. So I've been playing too much PvP is what they're saying. But yeah, that's cool, Fran.
I feel like right now there's just so much final shape content to digest and to work through. Especially like even today I had a couple of hours to kill. I was like, geez, well, I should probably go ahead and make some more progress on the main campaign for the final shape on one of my alts too, because I don't want to pay $20 to boost them through it. There's so much to get through right now. You could probably even like delay your playing of Echo's content for a couple of weeks. Just focus on getting through all the final shape stuff. Yeah. There's so much to do, and then pick it up later when you can bang through a few weeks worth of narrative in one sitting.
Yep.
You won't lose anything doing that.
That's been my deal. Again, I know people didn't want it. I would have preferred period for like the raid could have even come a little later. I wanted to soak that in. Again, this is just very personal. I'm not saying everybody wants it. And then, of course, the episode came out immediately that, I felt pushed into it when I actually I haven't done Cavell stuff. I need to do Microcosm, etc., and get back in the raid. And honestly, it's taken me away. But let's face it, from a revenue perspective, and they're just trying to get everybody into these seasons to keep player base up. And hopefully, so it's included, the episode is included with the final shape, but then they're 1,500 silver, which, you can only buy in the game. Anyway, that's going to come later. But they want you buying that as the point if you didn't buy the annual pass. And that's just the reality.
They also threw in trials really fast. I did not expect it to be this past weekend. It felt like, whoa, everybody's lower power level and that matters, and it's changing the way you're thinking about your build, and everything just felt slightly off because everybody's powers levels were all over the place, which is fine. Destiny's fun when there's some variety, and it definitely caused for that, other than Vostok being so strong everywhere. But yeah, there's just a lot really fast. Oh, TV reminded me, and I wanted to say this publicly somewhere. You were talking about encounters, and please look up, during the Echoes mission. Also, in competitive, the way it's set up now, everybody's used to reviving because it gives you that point back. It does not.
Don't pick me up, please. Don't pick me up.
Yes. No. Okay. It's now it's strategic. Yes, you can pick somebody up in competitive if it will give you the advantage to have that many players with you in that spot. Like if you're trying to cap a zone or defend a zone. cool. Otherwise, do not res that person because they'll respawn in like 1 second with special ammo. Otherwise, you're just respawning them without special next to you. And it doesn't give you the point.
Died so many times because, you know, like I'm in a 1v3, I kill 2, and then the third one's still alive. And you know, my teammate comes along and they're like, from the safety of the corner, they reach out and they revive my ghost. And by the time I'm up, I'm staring down 2 people with overshields. I'm like, please, let's chat about it. Let's be cool here, everybody. Hands in the air, everybody. I just immediately died. My teammate just walks back the way they came. And I'm like, why? Just why?
Yeah,
drives me crazy.
Yeah, so just a heads up on that. Think twice for your revive. Doesn't give you any points.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't refund. It used to be there were modes where it would refund a point.
Yeah.
You know, like picking up somebody would take that point off the scoreboard for the other team that they got when they killed you.
Yep.
It doesn't do that anymore because it's just like skirmish based or whatever. So you could be giving them extra points by reviving somebody in a bad location in front of multiple enemies where they're not even going to finish their spawn animation before they're dead again. Now you just actually handed points away to that team.
Yeah.
So
Which I want to say,
revive.
I do like that though, I want to say, because now it's more strategic. There's like options and it makes it a little bit more even when the team balance is a little off, because what happens in the old system is the team that is slightly stronger would always get revives and landslide the points.
Yeah, totally
and now whenever it's like a little bit less even of a fight, if you step it up and get that upper hand, they're not just getting all the revives and getting all their points back. If you killed 2 of them, you still killed 2 of them, you get those points. So I do like the change.
Agreed.
You guys want to do some Twitter questions?
I think that's a stellar idea, Briar.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hey Blaze says, do you think 2025 will be a bigger year for gaming than 2023 was?
2025 over last year.
Yeah.
Last year was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was huge.
It was
really
huge.
good.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to
say,
beat.
like the way they phrased that question, I almost thought that they were dogging on 2023. I thought 2023 was pretty hopping.
Yeah.
I would just put out, I think it'll be big, but I actually don't think it's big in terms of sort of breadth because people will be avoiding Grand Theft Auto 6, which is supposed to hit. I think some people will be like, you know what? We're going to wait this out. But Metroid Prime 4 was announced to come out next year, and the Switch 2, and that's not announced. That's not
Switch
announced.
2 is not announced, yeah. But Metroid Prime 4, that's a big deal.
And wasn't it Silas, is that the character's name from Hunters, was in the trailer?
Folks were saying that, yeah. It's funny, I'm a huge Metroid fan, but I'm not a lore expert ever. But I think I heard folks saying that, yeah, the guy that walks out. The Warlock.
That's pretty cool.
People, Destiny fans were joking because I forget what helmet that is.
Yeah.
Apotheosis Veil looking something.
I will say this is maybe a little bit of a tangent, but we're talking about Metroid. I know for a fact that one of the devs, one of the main devs, I won't name him, at Bungie, is a huge Metroid fan. In fact, was at one point one of the top ranked players in Metroid Hunters because it was.
It's probably Lars, dude.
It actually had some PvP. It wasn't Lars, but you're close.
Yeah.
But anyways, did any of you guys appreciate in the Final Shape campaign towards the end of? I think it is literally the last mission, isn't it? There is a Samus like ball form puzzle where you're looking at a wall in front of you and it's got these tracks, like there's a ball entry point and then these little tracks that go around and wind up the wall like this, and you're literally in Destiny running through a Samus Aran morph ball pathway.
That's funny.
Remember that
it's a complete nod to Metroid. It's great.
That's cool. I do know what you're talking about, but I didn't think about it that way when I was playing it. That's awesome.
If you stand back and you just look at the wall before you start making your ascent, you will see that that's literally what it is. It's so cool.
I did watch Imtash fall off that wall though when he got to the top on accident, and that was great.
Loser.
Yeah.
Moron.
That's funny. Yeah, no, they have a lot of like references. You guys notice the ghost quests, like rescuing Peach the ghost and Link, I think, is in there.
Oh, that's cool.
There are a couple ghost names that are. There's a Mario Nintendo fan. Maybe they're responsible for all of these nods, but honestly, I think it's across the team, and I think that was really nice.
Yeah.
Even though they're part of PlayStation now, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is great, you know.
It's just gamers making games is what it is, and that's what you have to appreciate.
Oh,
yeah,
that reminds me, gamers making games. The Echoes cinematic, like the initial one that came out, is made by an artist that was from the community.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, and now did stuff for Bungie. Yeah, and
That's
it's incredible too. I was like, oh man, this is amazing.
I should also point out Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is what it's called, which has a dark and light mechanic. I'm not kidding with you, where you go to another realm. So yeah, a lot of I think inspiration over time. I mean, Zelda
banger
had done that stuff too, but anyway, 2025. I mean, is it going to blow everything else out of the water? I think it's going to be huge between Switch 2 and GTA 6. And
Monster Hunter Wilds, Fable, Doom, The Dark Ages,
Pokemon, Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, 2023 had so many huge games.
Bangers.
Now, I will say some of those ended up disappointing a little bit, but it still had so many huge games. Huge games.
Actually, Briar, related, did you see the Marvel vs. Capcom collection announcement stuff?
Yes, I'm so excited for that. That was really exciting. That's the first time the arcade version of those games could be available for home consoles. Even the Dreamcast and the Xbox version and the PlayStation version had like real issues to them, and they were ports. They weren't just like the ROMs, you know. So it's really exciting, and those are. I also like how they are part of the fighting game collection series, meaning that the last fighting game collection was such a big hit that they are now making a series out of this, and we can expect future series because there's so many more Capcom fighting games that they can come out with, like all the 3D stuff, and you know. There's just so many, right? Like the SNK versus Capcom stuff would be really fun. Yeah, I was really excited to see it.
Yeah. Not on Xbox though, apparently. So,
yeah. I read somewhere that there's like some deal with like X-Men games on Xbox that can't be on there. Was that just like made up internet bullshit?
Sounds like it could be made up, but
okay.
we'd have to source fact check that one.
Maybe the Xbox just isn't where fighting games are being played right now.
Isn't Marathon
I think it's a possibility that
supposed to be 2025?
Oh, really?
I think so. Supposed to be. I mean, it's probably going to be 2026, 27.
Who's making that?
Did we get a year? I don't even know if we got.
Yeah, I think if you just like search it, you know.
I thought that they did say no, they didn't give a year yet, but they all
we just expect
it's probably. I think so. Now you're making me forget, but
that's what all the news articles are telling me. That's what everybody thinks it's going to be. I don't think it's been announced to be that. Yeah, presumed.
Who's making that? I've never heard of it.
Oh, no, the new Bungie game. Yeah.
He's rolling, yeah. Got him. Put a 2 up. That's 2 times we fooled Fran this episode. Put a 2 on the screen.
All right, 33.
Replace that 32 with a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. 2023 was big. 2025 looks like it's gonna be big. I mean, every year feels like it's big at this point. 2024 is big. Like, there's a lot of great stuff coming out this year.
I don't need it to be that big. My backlog is so huge.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, that Still Wakes the Deep game, that horror game that me and Watts have been talking about, came out 2 days ago, and I really, really want to play it.
Nine Souls came out like last month, and I still haven't played it.
It's on Game Pass and stuff, so at least you should be able to dive in at least briefly if you're not committed to it, you know.
Heck, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate.
I still haven't even gotten to Baldur's Gate. There's so much.
Baldur's Gate and Remnant 2 are my 2 favorite games of 2023.
Those are good picks.
Yeah.
Basil says, why does everyone want to eat Briar when we are eating good with games? Finally, somebody's speaking some sense over here. New Zelda looks great. Anyway, can y'all do a backflip?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, in fact, literally yesterday, I was swimming, and my son asked me if I could do a backflip, because I always do front flips into the pool.
Yeah.
And he's like, can you do a backflip? And I told him, like, no, I cannot. I don't know what it is about my body, but it does not do backflips. Like, I know what you're supposed to do. Like, crank your head back and look all the way back. It just doesn't work. And he's like, can you show me? I was like, I'm going to die, but sure. I did not do a backflip.
Yeah, your body, unless you've trained yourself to do it, does not want to do that.
It's just
Everything's
so
pointing
unnatural.
forward.
So weird.
Yeah.
But little known fact, I haven't done it in a long time, but bit of a trampoline expert because I had one in my
Ooh.
backyard growing up, and
Whoa.
You have that
backflip would
look.
be easy.
Yeah,
I got the look of a
you got that
trampoline
look of a
guy
trampoline expert.
that
You
could
look
do
well
a backflip.
trampolined.
Now that you mention it, it's true.
Well tramped. I look like a tramp guy.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
now you're putting words in my mouth.
He said it, but no, for real, I think I could very easily do a backflip, a pencil backflip. Just need to get a little height.
Wow.
But it's been a while. But I need a trampoline. I can't just do it off the ground.
And
Next
y'all gonna
time
be
I'm in
watching-
San Fran? We're going to a trampoline park.
Let's go.
That's right.
And y'all gonna be watching the Olympics?
Oh,
Speaking of-
absolutely. I love the Olympics. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
I know. It's coming up.
They're gonna be on NBC this year, right?
Gonna happen.
It always surprises you when it comes up because especially Summer Olympics because it's like every 4 years and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're like really involved, you know.
When I was
I'll
a
tell you
kid,
what.
they did the winter and the summer in the same year. They didn't split it up like they do now. And I like that better because it was an Olympics year, right? You're just like, we got the Olympics this year, we're gonna do the winter, we're gonna do the summer.
Oh, that's cool.
Now it's like it's every 2 years, so you get Olympics every 2 years, which is nice, but it doesn't feel as special. It's not like a big year event,
Mhm.
you know. But I am
Agreed.
looking forward to it. I like watching it.
I'll tell you what, I normally wouldn't, but sometimes I just like am doing dishes in the kitchen or whatever, and I will usually just have news or Destiny vids or something on
You
the
do
back.
your
But
dishes in the kitchen?
I do. Yeah, it's crazy.
A little wild, man.
But Peacock is included, I think, with Xfinity and all that, and I always forget,
Oh.
and I never have ever used
Nice.
it.
Huh.
And I'm like, you know what? I bet you I could live
Yeah,
stream
check out
TV,
that
which I
cock.
don't have, and I'm gonna exactly. Briar nailed it. Gonna have that on in the background.
Oh,
Yeah, I watch a lot
man.
of golf on Peacock. They run a lot of commercials,
Mm.
like a real lot
Oh.
of commercials.
Oh,
I don't watch cable. I haven't had like a cable TV subscription in probably 15 years at this point. So it's jarring for me to watch like live TV.
Well,
What's
Oh.
happening? Where's the skip button?
see, I
Yeah.
thought since it was included, it's like a premium, but no, I'm just gonna get commercials.
It's
and
gonna be-
that nuts.
yeah.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
And
We're giving
like,
you
it's
the
like-
privilege of watching ads. Yeah.
Is when you're live streaming, they just they'll play the same commercials during every ad break.
Yes, dude.
Which
It's like
sucks.
now I hate your product. Thank you,
Right,
because I've
yeah.
seen this ad
I'm-
12 times in the last
Yep.
hour.
Yeah,
I'm
and
never
if you're
gonna buy
really
those
lucky, they'll
diapers
play
now.
the same commercial back to back.
That
Like
does
they
happen
got
too.
a 1 minute ad break, and they'll play the same 30-second commercial
Yeah.
twice. That sucks.
You've ruined it.
You've ruined it. Blandy McBlanderson says, if you were forced to have a deep conversation with Zavala about one of the following topics, what would you choose? 1, religion. 2, politics. 3, sex. 4, pooping. Do you think
I thought-
Zavala would be able to have like a rational conversation about religion or politics? Or you think he just
Yes.
he's got his position and
Oh,
like-
I see what you're saying.
he's like, I can't even talk about it. Like, if you're either with me or you're against me, kind of thing. Like,
I would not want to talk religion or politics with Zavala. Frankly,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'd want to talk at
With
length with
anybody.
Zavala or anybody about religion
Anybody.
or politics. So I don't really care to talk about pooping too much either. So I think it's got to
Yeah.
be, if I'm going to talk to the big blue man about something, it's going to be intercourse, I suppose.
that's a
Just to
rough
see
one,
his whole
too.
take. Just let me get his perspective on it, and then we'll pretend it never happened.
I think I might go religion just because, like, I don't know anything about his religion, so it'd just be me listening. It wouldn't be like it wouldn't be like a debate of any kind. It would just be
Yeah.
like, I believe that the traveler provides, and the ghosts.
Not anymore, you don't.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know what I'm saying though. It's like like it would just be listening. Which
I feel like I would do that with politics, kind of, but be more like the kid who asks you about it, who's like, but why?
yeah,
But why?
Why?
But why? And just like have him just keep endlessly, because I'm not gonna, like you said, you're not gonna be able to fight back against anything.
He's
You're
just
just like,
getting angrier
I'm
and
just gonna listen.
angrier.
yeah, he's like, and he does the fist thing, and
Because that's the way it works, damn it.
Take your ice cream and shut up.
You gave me too much time to think about this one, so
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I would talk about pooping with Zaval because I want to hear him. I'd be like, so, do you get enough fiber? How are your poops?
Are
And
they
he'd
blue
pause.
as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's
both.
both
oh
good
yeah,
God.
good question.
But the real
If
kicker
you
is
poop in the armor, can the ghost just kind of take care of that? Or
see, it not only would be interesting, but I think you'd get to hear him say, "Our guardian took a big dump on Phobos. Whatever it was, put Cabal again." Anyway, you'd get a nice little. Our guardian took a big dump on Phobos.
Listen to him here. Listen to him talk about pooping in like a dramatic Zavala way. It would be entertaining.
It would be good. Not in the old school Zavala voice. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Lance.
Yeah.
Divine says, I've been listening to you guys since the Planet Destiny days. You've been there
I'm
for
so
me.
sorry.
Do you think it's possible to still fail even after defeating the Witness? I feel we shouldn't always win the way we think we should. Also, with the powers of light and dark, Divine, I see what you're doing there, and I'm cutting you off.
We did, yeah. We were gonna do a little barbecue in there too.
Do you think it's possible?
I feel like the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. Shit.
I mean, they're definitely setting
Brian.
up. They're definitely setting up the Winnower as our next.
Yeah.
You know, like that's coming down the parks. I mean, we can fail, but like we can't fail because if we fail, it's all over, right? The game ends.
Yeah, it's
I
all
don't feel like-
cataclysmic events. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they're setting up the hive a bit too, though, with everything. Because I know that Savathun's kind of like ally here, ally there, you know. But the way that she was talking about her sister and stuff, I was like, are we gonna have a moment where like she teams up with Zivo Wrath and takes some of this power because she knows about the Winnower and all this stuff, and I don't know. I could see something really big going down with the hive in the third episode we get here this year.
I would be. To be honest, I'm going to be disappointed if Destiny Frontiers doesn't take us to Fundament. Like, I would love to go to where the hive are from, and maybe there's like literally we're working towards this like family reunion back on Fundament, working with Savathun and then having our clash with Zivu or Wrath and some of the narrative that we've gotten as well with Savathun, like. It makes you feel like there is still a familial connection in there somewhere. You know what I mean? And
agreed.
Maybe taking it back to the roots on Fundament. I want to see Tora Bottle. Like
that's where I thought. Yeah,
I want to go to these friggin' places instead of just talking about them all the time.
I'm glad we got this cutscene at the beginning of the episodes with Saint and Osiris. That's kind of like, hey, we got this dream of like going out because that's something that we've wanted as players for so long, to go out and see more of this Destiny stuff, and for them to kind of hint at that and then drop at the same time like, hey, Destiny Frontiers, like, oh, okay, like we doing this. So I'm right there with you, TV. I think that like at first my thing was like, get rid of Earth, like let's just like go out and explore. Yeah, whatever, let the final shape happen and let's go explore D3, here we come. But the way you put it and the way they talked about announcing Destiny 2 Frontiers, it's like, okay, like we could actually have this adventure, not leave everything behind,
But maybe we still have to leave everything behind physically. Like maybe Destiny 2 Frontiers is literally going to be like when you're playing, maybe you launch that version of the game. You don't have access to your vault and the tower and all the gear.
I would love that. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, hard reset for Frontiers is my vote easily.
I'm in that
too.
But you can still do the soul thing. Have all your stuff. Do all your stuff that you're used to doing and use the stuff you're used to using.
Just so I understand, you're saying, by the way, I think everybody likes the idea of a hard reset, but you're going to have enough content, right, to make that work. But I'm with you. But I was going to say, so I understand, you can like travel back to Destiny 2 sort of is what you're saying. You just like go back to that solar system, all your stuff.
I don't know how they would manage it.
Like, is that what you're?
I'm not a dev, but yes, I would like them to be two separate spaces, and you know what I mean. So like when I'm doing the Frontiers thing, we're so far removed from the Soul system, I can't just transmat my Graviton Lance out of the vault. You know what I mean?
It's a great idea.
The game is so bloated. I love the game. Don't get me wrong, but it's so bloated. 600 vault space is almost full. You know what I mean? And like it also creates more challenges for Bungie because every time a new season launches, they're like, okay, well now we need to make a whole suite of new weapons. but they need to feel new. In a world where there are already 24 adaptive frame auto rifles, we need to bring a new adaptive frame auto rifle to the table that has just stats are a little bit different. Maybe the handling's higher on this. I don't know, but it's also got this new perk. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
like
a tough spot to be in.
they have to constantly, and the thing is, but it has to be desirable, or else no one's going to want to buy the content and grind the guns. And that does happen sometimes, where they'll introduce a suite of weapons, and only 2 of them are worth chasing because we have so much other loot in the game. It's so bloated. It's like, man, comparing this apples to apples to the stuff we've already got, why would I ever want this thing? You know what I mean? So Frontiers, to me, I really hope is a hard reset.
I mean, that'd be amazing. I do think we'll get a new subclass for that one, and a new planet, but like, man, it's hard to dream as big as like sort of Destiny 2 next and Destiny 3 level, because again, you'd have to reinvent so many things. And I'm like, they put so much energy into Final Shape for me to imagine that, say, a year and a half from now, I'm just guessing, but that,
right,
even in 2 years that we would somehow arrive, that they also
have par
that.
with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do they deliver that big? But I mean, you never know. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company based on their purchase, so maybe they've got more going on than we realize. But at the very least, I think a new subclass, new planet, go somewhere new, that checks out.
Twisted Joystick Podcast says, would you rather get 3 million a day or get everything half off for life?
The second one, easy.
Half off for life?
Think about it. Half off for life. Think about it this way. My mortgage is half off for the rest of my life.
You couldn't pay it off for the first day with the first 3 million?
Yeah, you can pay all that off.
Dude, think about this though. 3 million today, but you're doing half off. Think about how much you could invest if you did not change your lifestyle at all. You just said all of my expenses are cut in half. I'm going to take half of my revenue that usually went to expenses, and I'm investing that now. Let's open up another your Roth IRA. Let's invest in this. Let's invest in that. You got more to leave behind for your kids. Growth over time, dude. You're gonna eclipse that 3 million easily.
I thought he said 3 million every day. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
3
day.
million. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread it though. You are correct.
See,
he said a day, not a day. Yeah.
As intended, and I heard it as you said it, and I was like, why wouldn't I take like literally
if it was 3
$900
million a day, then I would.
Well, then duh.
Absolutely. But today, I do believe TV is probably right.
Oh, I 100% on that.
Yeah. 100%.
Big difference.
I'm gonna run the numbers for a good hour before I make my decision,
even after taxes.
But I mean, half off on
half
everything.
Off taxes. Ooh,
half off taxes. Half off everything. Yeah, I mean that's the way to go. You're gonna easily get through 3 million.
Yeah, because it would have been like $1 billion a year otherwise.
Yeah. Mr. Dead Rabbit says, with the sunrise of old weapons, is there anything anyone has tried out again?
18 Kelvin still slaps.
Oh, nice. Need to bust out Iron Tail.
Too soon.
Just for fun.
I did.
You did? Was it?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's probably been out of class.
It's nostalgic, but it's
yeah.
I had like it might even have been more current that they brought back, but Annual Skate was always a favorite of mine. I don't know if they sunset that, but in that vein, I'd be willing to.
If anybody's got it, there's a Prolium, a rapid fire fusion with a 21 zoom scope on it that's floating out there. I have some people on Twitter who are tagging me about their kills with it. I'm very jealous that I did not keep one.
I still have a Prolium. I don't remember what scope
Ooh, what do you? Yeah, look it up. Tell me what you got on it. I'm curious.
I hope I didn't. I know I kept one for the longest time. I hope I didn't. I did a big cleaning before Final Shape. It's like the silver one, right? And it's not in there. I don't even remember what it looked like. It was like silver, right?
Yeah, it looks almost like it is Amon.
Oh man, you can't type "is sunset" into dim anymore because nothing's sunset.
But it's Proelum, IEM, sorry. But anyway, I don't have one.
Zabe says, let's remember back to Destiny 1. Does anyone think this entire story was written out this way? Or did they make this up they went until Forsaken and then fleshed all this out? No, we know for a fact.
More the latter, yeah.
Yeah.
We're lost storytelling now.
I mean,
They
Luke
had-
Smith basically said he was blowing up the story when he took over the Destiny 2 project, right? I mean, he said that publicly. We knew there was there was a point in Destiny 1 where I believe there was probably like that story Bible, but whatever that was, or if it even existed, did not get carried forth into Destiny
there's
2.
also that very early story about they had a supercut of the major beats that they showed to the executives, and they didn't like that, and which is part of like how it even launched. So not only
right.
there was like the before launch, then there's like the at launch plan, and then it's continued to kind of get torn apart to figure out, I think, how to get to the light and dark saga, and I think that was more so baked. But even then, we say, well, I don't think Lightfall was really part of that, right? Like at first, probably not, because it wasn't part of it at first. So. Well, it was called Lightfall, but then they added the final shape, and the theory was that Lightfall itself was kind of like tacked on to give us time for the final shape to come together. So anyway, that's pretty normal for any story of, I think, 10 years of storytelling, let alone video game.
Lowe says, with the witness being the first knife, do you think there are more direct disciples of the Winnower that we may face despite the light and dark saga coming to an end? Surely the Winnower, whichever form it may take, needs to make a somewhat physical appearance at some point. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assumption.
Yeah.
Rex says, hey team, I've got a weird request one here. Lore-wise, the Crucible is a training ground for Guardians to improve their skills on the battlefield. How do you guys think, if at all, skills developed by playing PvP translate to PvE? General play, GMs, raids, etc.
Oh, yeah. I actually this is a really interesting conversation, but I get this comment a lot from seasoned raiders, where they will openly say, like, "Hey, we love when PvP enthusiasts hop in the raid team." Because even though like mechanics can be taught, roles can be taught, but like just knowing how to stay alive, preserve your life, prioritize targets, proper movement, playing close to cover, all that stuff is baked into a seasoned PvP player. And especially with the new raid, there's encounters like the Verity encounter, the fourth one, where it takes half of the team and throws them in their own rooms. They have ogres, knights with AoE cannons, the flying Zubats that suppress and slow you. There's a lot that you have to manage, and I think that there's a lot of skills from PvP that translate very well to situations like that where pressure's all on you, man. You're gonna keep it cool. So, and that's not to say that PvP players are the best or anything like that, but yes, I have heard many seasoned raiders say that same thing, where they're like, "Oh, we love when good PvP players come over because we know that they know how to kill things and stay alive, and at the end of the day, that's really what we need them to do."
Yeah, sums it up good.
Blazik18 says, putting aside the over/under on toilet paper, what side is the best side to grab, from the left or from the right? So I guess that's where you mount your roll. Would you rather have?
I was like, do they mean
right?
at the corner of the toilet paper itself, or like
middle.
with your
In the middle,
or the placement of the? Yeah, I don't know.
Every bathroom in our house, it's on the right.
That's
to the right
really
of the
just
seat.
that's like, where's the wall? Like,
Yeah.
you don't get to choose. I guess if
Yeah,
you have
I'm
like
trying to think though.
a toilet
we have
paper
it-
like stand, sometimes you see that.
Yeah,
we
well,
have
sometimes
it.
it's in front of you. I don't think this person has experienced
That's
that,
crazy.
so
Like,
I-
you gotta
In
lean
front of
forward
you.
off of the toilet. That's
yeah,
bullshit, Fran.
That's even
That's
better.
not
You
a
can
thing.
get a full
You just
evacuation
made that up.
while you reach
Don't
forward.
sit here and lie to me about your toilet paper experiences.
That's
like
how
some
you get
kind of
everything.
a Massachusettsan.
I'm confused.
I feel like I've stayed in a lot of hotels too. I feel like that has definitely happened a number of times, but most people are right-handed, so I'm just gonna say right. All right. Happy?
I don't feel like there's a difference. I on one side of my house it's on the right, and on the other side of my house it's on the left. Like depending on which
Okay.
bathroom we go to.
Yeah.
And I don't have a preference. Like I've
Now I'm
never
gonna
thought
challenge
of,
you.
yeah.
I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Now I'm gonna think about it. Yeah.
What hand do you wipe with?
Are you right-handed or left-handed? Which
Well,
you
I'm
have?
right-handed, so
Okay, so you got to change
Do
hands
you wipe
after
with
the
your
pull?
right?
I'm a lefty, but I'm gonna wipe with my right.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so you wipe with your
you
off
need
hands.
2 hands
Well, no,
to
let me
get the
think about
toilet
it.
paper
I gotta
anyway.
do the motion. No, I do. I do wipe with the left. I do, don't I?
Do you?
Really?
Oh yeah, I do.
That's the more polite way to do it. 'Cause
Everybody's
you shake with
imagining
your
him-
right hand, so you should wipe with your left. You know, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you close the seat before you flush because you're worried about particulates on your toothbrush?
I try to remember. My
I'm
toothbrush
trying
is
to remember.
How
Sometimes
close is
I-
the toilet to y'all's toothbrush?
TV.
2 inches apart.
By the way, TV, if you
I'm
do
kidding.
think about this, and it's probably not really worth it, but if you think about it, there's these pretty cheap, they're UV, USB rechargeable. It's blue UV light that you pop on the
Yeah.
top of the toothbrush. And they're like super
Ah.
cheap. I mean, for $20 or something, but sealed up UV light supposedly gets rid of your fecal matter on the
That's pretty
toothbrush. So
nice.
now everybody,
Hmm.
you think about that next time you
Interesting.
brush those
Wow.
teeth.
Yeah. Do you guys use what's your brushing regimen? Do you guys use mouthwash? Do you go? Do you floss
try
every day?
not to.
Like, what do you do?
I do floss daily, but that's only because I have a couple implants.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Should
had
anyway.
I've had a couple of instances where I used to ride motorcycles, dirt bikes, stuff like that. I've shattered a couple teeth. So I have a couple of implants, and I have to, because they're shaped differently. Like a normal tooth just goes straight up and down, but implants, they kind of taper in like this. So there's this
Oh,
there's
really?
this negative space in between your teeth.
Mm.
So you gotta get in there, floss those out. So since I'm already doing it, floss them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, everybody should, but a lot of people don't know it's for your gums, as much as more so really than it is for your teeth, because
Yeah.
you get buildup down there and it causes gingivitis. And honestly, like, yeah, I've been very on and off with it my life, but I'm very like diligent about doing both at once. And once I got the Reach, if you know, the brand sells those, you click in those little replaceable.
Oh yeah.
And that's like before,
Yeah.
like trying to like put your fingers in it. No wonder
Yeah.
why nobody's flossing, because it was a terrible system. But like
That's right.
once switch to that,
I got
it's
those
been
like
much better.
claws, right? Like with this
Yeah.
string between them, and then you just
Yeah.
kind of sit there. And I really like those. And I moved them
Exactly.
to the couch, so I'm watching TV at night. I'll grab one,
There you go.
do it while I'm watching
Mm.
TV, toss it, and then right before I go to bed, I'll brush my teeth.
There you
That's
go.
good too. But yeah, man, it's critical. If anybody's listening, definitely just do it and build it in. Honestly, your gums and teeth feel so much better after even just like a
in
week
the
or.
car. Like if I'm out
Yeah.
eating, out to eat, and then you
Yeah.
get something stuck. You know what I mean? Like I always,
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Yeah.
that feeling. So
I hate it too. Yeah,
Heard
I
that.
keep them
But I
in
was
my
gonna
center
say-
console as well.
The real question is, who here scrapes their tongue at all? Any tongue scrapers?
I don't
Wait,
even know what you're
what?
talking about.
I mean, like
What?
with the
All right.
toothbrush itself.
No.
Yeah, with the
every now
No,
and
with
toothbrush.
a
then,
tongue
but-
scraper.
yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this
No.
out there. If you ever think about having fresh breath so that's the one
Dude.
time every once in a while.
I think
every
about it
several
all
days,
the
I think.
time. That's not true.
If you do, seriously, like, I mean, your tongue, and I would do your research if that's like truly like you shouldn't scrape bacteria off your tongue, but there's usually plenty of that on there. But I do it every once in a while, and man, your mouth is so much fresher.
Is it
so.
a specific
This
device?
stuff kills all the bacteria in there.
Yeah, they're very tongue scrapers are very common. It's just like a pad, that you scrape, but you scrape off the
Oh,
back.
Hurts even.
And you'd
thinking
be
about it.
surprised, and that's when I use the mouthwash like briefly. They tend
Yeah.
to say I think mouthwash is probably not worth using every day. Again, do your research, but
Oh, really?
So
yeah.
the tongue scraper thing, I feel like I can't do that. I have like really sensitive mouth, like sore issue things that happen like
Mm.
inside my mouth, and if like something like that, I'm
On
like,
your
oh, I
tongue?
can't even
Really?
think about it. Yeah,
Oh, man.
sometimes on my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, then then don't do it. But if you
Yeah.
again, it's mostly for I would say a breath thing. I don't think you should. I don't really have bad breath, by the way. Just for the record, I like
I'll be the judge. of
everybody's
that.
talking to me. He's like,
Yeah.
Thank
Nobody
God it's
thinks
like
they have
this
bad
for-
breath.
no, I'm
I
just
mean, with
like,
this
really-
routine, it sounds like it'd be really fresh.
I
I'm
just think
saying.
about it a lot. But I think if you don't have that as a thought, or anybody in your life that's worried about it, then don't do it. It's probably not worth
My
'Cause I don't
I
think
use
it's
a dental
cause
pick
of issue.
too, and my dentist recommended putting mouthwash in the dental pick once a week.
Mhm.
But I think that's more to clean the dental pick than it is to clean my mouth,
Probably.
because it like kills whatever's because you just run
Yeah.
water
Sure.
through a pump.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's a little Side note. There.
Yeah, we're getting it all hygiene stuff now. Oh, it's cue us up for next week. Yeah.
This guy Sim says this one's for Mylan, but he's not here today, so we're gonna answer it for him. Is playing the final shape sound occupational therapy for thumb active range of motion? Wait, okay. Is playing the final shape sound occupational therapy for thumb active range of motion? And how do I get my OT wife involved with Destiny 2 from a clinical perspective?
He's trying to convince their wife that you use your thumbs on a controller a lot and it's good for your thumbs. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh,
It sounds like.
Okay. Yes, definitely is.
No, it's the.
I would not. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to find another means of convincing her to try it out.
Mental acuity, though.
Mental
Huge.
acuity.
Yeah.
Puzzles for activation of your mind. Yeah.
Right.
Community
Reflexes, keeping your reflexes sharp.
Socializing.
Socializing.
Just ask
Dual
him,
destiny.
Just be like, do you think that bravery, devotion, and sacrifice are honorable things?
Mm-hmm.
Because as a guardian, that's what I'm committed to.
These are our tenets. Yes.
Yeah. Last question of the night. Zachary Richin says, going to New York later this year, what pizza places should I go and visit?
Every New Yorker's favorite question, by the way.
My friend Michael, his favorite place is called Sbarro. You get the reference?
Good pick. That's really the authentic New York pizza, I believe. And you can get it by the slice, which the New Yorkers love, getting pizza by the slice.
That's right. That's right.
I think any street corner that's not Times Square, you're probably in pretty darn good shape. But I'm not an expert of which Joe's or which place to go to. But it's everywhere.
I think the answer is probably different too. Like, are you looking to buy a slice and eat it on the street, like at 2:00 in the morning, or are you looking to bring your family and have like a sit down dinner? Because I think the great thing about New York pizza is that the bottom, the floor is very high. Like the average slice of pizza you get in New York is really good.
Last time I was in NYC, we were recommended from a place to eat pizza. I don't even remember the name of it, but they recommended this place, and we thought we were like in the wrong spot because you had to walk into like a boutique, like you were just going into like a boutique store, but you had to walk through the store, but then there was a door in the back of the store with some stairs that went down, and this pizza parlor was like they rented space from the back of the boutique in their basement and converted it into a pizza parlor.
Pizza speakeasy.
It's like a pizza speakeasy. Dude, not only was the pizza good, but the cannolis, handmade cannolis.
A nice cannoli.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That's awesome.
Now you're making me hungry for you.
Those are the best places. Yeah.
I mean, that's my favorite pizza in New York is like 2:00 in the morning. You've been out all night. You find that place that's got like a line going halfway down the block. And you get in that line, and before you know it, you got a slice of pizza in your hand and a paper plate, and you're trying to eat this thing over the paper plate. And the slice of pizza is like the size of a small pizza, you know?
Well, you have to let usually 3 to 4 inches at a time hang off the front of the plate, and you cup the plate, you curl the plate, you know what I mean? Like a taco. Like the plate's a taco with the pizza on the inside.
Wow, man. If it's a good spot, I mean, it depends on that time. But you should be able to give it that sort of half fold. And it should be.
Fold it. Yeah.
Because, they shouldn't be that soggy, man. That's the whole point of New York. Yeah. It's a little stretchy, but it's firm. It's just how you like it.
Yeah, probably for specific spots. You know, if you get out of New York and go to New Haven, unbelievable pizza in New Haven.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable pizza available in New Haven. But that's definitely like a sit down with your family and eat kind of place. In fact, you probably have to wait like an hour or two to get in the place, depending on what time
now
of day.
I'm freaking hungry.
What's that famous
right?
I brushed my teeth before the podcast too.
Best I got is pizza rolls.
Briar, what's that? Do you know the famous seafood and was it Sully's or you know what I'm talking about? New Haven?
I can't remember.
It's like a famous. Anyway, yeah. Also go to New Haven.
Yeah, New Haven's great. That's it. We've completed yet another DCP+ SideQuest podcast. You're welcome.
Why do you still call it DCP plus? Like, just call it DC plus. Just DC plus.
DC,
You know what I'm
DC
saying?
plus.
Don't get him more like
DCP.
confused. He got the episode
Just it
right
rolls
at the
off
top.
DC plus.
I feel like you're
plus
break
P.
all of the work, the goodwill. It's coming crashing down at the end of the episode. TV.
388 episodes to get the
He did it
episode number right. And TV wants to come in here and shake it all up.
DCPP.
DCPP. I like that.
PP is just one too
Well,
many P's.
We worked so
It's
hard.
just perfect.
Everything has been erased in his mind now.
Thank you all for having us. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Mark.
Be well.
He's